Master Grade Sazabi, version KA.
Hey, what's up again, everybody? It's Robert184, 2Rs, 2Bs, gundam.tk, and it's been a long road, well, a long time, getting from there to here, but I'm finally done my review of the Master Grade Sazabi, ver.Ka Toki. Lots of good things, lots of bad things. I'll start with the negatives, but I'd love to hear your thoughts with a comment down below, and don't forget, gundam.tk, on the front page of This Is New, or in the post, vote. Whether you like this kit or not, it has an amazingly high number so far, and of course, how do you think it stacks up next to its eternal rival, the new Gundam, ver.Ka Toki? Starting with the unbox, I think at the beginning I was a little disappointed that you're going to be getting some ugly silver from Bandai. Of course, that's fixable if you've got a can of spray paint, but when you see things like the real Great Strike Freedom getting some nice mechie gold, maybe some mechie silver here, could have been not bad. And at the same time, is there anybody who's disappointed? First of all, some people don't like the new Gundam having any sort of cool colored frame in the first place. The Sazabi toned that down. But is there anybody who'd go the other way? Somebody who doesn't want it to transform, or the opposite extreme, where you want it to be actually colored up in angry red or peaceful green or whatever color you want to go along matching with the other effect parts? For me, I'm pretty happy with the silver, just it's always better to go bright. Bottom to top, some of the problems that spring to mind is that these front parts here, they don't open up all that well. The silver, again, is not going to be looking that great without that little bit of extra effort. And of course, one part of the disappointment is just going to be that it's got some great details hidden in the back that you're not necessarily going to be seeing. Here on the inside of the legs, 90% of the time, if you've got the toes on display, you're not going to be going something like Perona from One Piece. You're going to have them out at a cool-looking angle. And so in this case, it would have been nice. Hey, they're breaking. Why not break all the rules and put thrusters all over the place? They've been doing it anyway, so why not have a couple, a really obvious yellow inside, gray there on the inside? Just seems like a squandered opportunity. This one, of course, being famous, is looking very good there. And the inside ones, we've seen it on lower grade kits, so it's great that they're popping out. The silver in the back there is great. But at the same time, it just seems a little disappointing that for something that is hulked out from the front, if these panels get knocked down by accident, then most of the good stuff's going to be hidden in the back. And that's going to be applying to the waist section there as well, obscured as it may be, because there's not much silver there, and there's not much silver on the side skirts. The side skirts were definitely an opportunity to get more in there, because look at that rear skirt, exact same problem as down below. Lots of silver on gray, an amazing mechanical advantage, or device, just getting it out into play. It's a little bit tricky pulling it out into position until you get used to it, because you may be afraid that you're going to be breaking it. But at the same time, it's one of the best looking parts of the kit, and it's going to be buried on the back unless you go display two of them, which would be a little bit strange to be showing it off on that side. But the side skirts, they fall off at the drop of a hat. The front skirts, they fall off at the drop of the hat. And actually the hips, I'm just wondering if it's just mine, but mine seem to slide a little bit too easily forward and back, which can lead to some awkward posing until you get that until you notice it, and then fix that. And at the same time, I've also had the legs fall off probably 3-4 times over the course of the review, so even though it's big and bulky, it just could have had a little bit more improvement in terms of the solidness. Starting on the back, well, we've seen some crazy extensions over time. They could have done something a little bit more unique perhaps back there, done it in white, longer something, but at the same time there's a lot more positives about the backpack, except for the fact that it could be moving more up and down and around, even if it wanted to go up 90. Sure, it's silly and it's not something that we should be seeing, but it would just give you another posing angle, and you'd get to see them a lot more clearly from the front, especially since they go to the trouble of having that nice raise-up separation part, and then the gray inside the red. For the chest itself, well, it's a little bit wonky. I've definitely had him lean over, into, especially off to the left side, when you add in the tomahawk in hand and the shield. Also coming up, the shield itself is not going to hang in there. It hangs in there well. It would have been nice if it could have still kept the twist. You can, of course, move the shoulder around, but it's the kind of thing where it looked good once, and I probably won't do it again. Keeping it on the forearm just gives you a lot more options because that slide mechanism is incredible. For the shoulders themselves, well, transforming them once, everything just popped out on me. And for these parts here, it's a little bit awkward. If you can see inside, there's these thrusters facing you. Okay, that's great for sidestepping and rainbow dashing left and right. But at the same time, you've got these ones. You've got to get them up at a very strange angle because otherwise they're going to be sort of pointing down and actually burning into his bicep, which doesn't come across as all that practical. Of course, you can fix that up with a few different angles. I am not a fan of the fact that either the forearm, you could have had a lot more of the transformation gimmicks built into it. That's not really here. And also, this one is probably one of the most problematic ones. I've only done it 2-3 times, but at the same time, I've already got a couple of the great pieces that just seem to be a little bit bent. I'm hoping you've had better success, or I just haven't figured out the trick for it yet. down to the ankle or the wrists. Problematic because he's got these giant cuffs around here that you'll see in half a moment, and then that's just going to be problematic. If you've got a beam saber in hand and you want to turn that around, well, you can only have it in one direction, and of course it's going to want to be banging into the bottom, which just isn't ideal in this case. And those emotion manipulators love the fact that you can get the fingers exactly in the pose that you want with them, but at the same time, they've fallen out about 20 times over the course of this review, and I haven't been doing anything besides swapping out the weapons. Not bad, it's easy to take them out, put the weapons in, get the pegs down, make sure everything's attached properly, but at the same time, it's just a little bit annoying when you're putting the gun in one hand and then the other hand falls out for no reason. The shield on the inside, it's going to be a little bit plain, but then again, the front is just so awesome that you're not going to really notice it. But overall, I'm not very impressed with the front of the chest with that silver slide mechanism. It opens up and it looks like the old tank from Igloo in Gun vs. Gundam and Hildolfer. I'm sorry, my pronunciation for that one's no good. But this part doesn't slide down as well as it could, and this part doesn't slide up that well, and it's going to be a loose part, and it just seems like it wants to pop off all the time. So not that well designed, or so it seems. And I'm somewhat disappointed with some of the aspects of the head. It's got a lot of moving parts there. That's a great idea. You can move it down, move it up, expose the mono eye there on the inside. You've got options even for the cockpit. Lots of good stuff. But at the same time, it just comes across as, even if you just want to turn the head or maneuver it up and down to get an angry down, or looking up in the sky, dreaming of independence for space noids everywhere, escaping from the wells of gravity, it's just going to be falling apart on you. I had this front part fall off a number of times, the back part fall off. The V-fin, thankfully, is standing up to be pretty strong, or the U-fin, if you want to call it that. And I really was unimpressed. The water slide for the mono eye works fine, and the light is going to be coming through it if I angle that up. But I'm afraid that if I move it, well, you can see the neck moving there as well. That this part, well, no, there goes his ankle. So he just wants to topple forward a little bit right now. But I'll fight through that. As this part here, anyway, it's just the kind of thing, it gives you more options, but they seem to be a hindrance rather than a help more often than not, as he just has more moving parts than needed, and this clear part here, it's disappointing. You've got the light coming up from the chest, fantastic innovation that we've been seeing for a while now, but it's still great to see here, and mono eye kits are just asking for it. And if it's going to be going through there, why not build it in through there? I would rather get rid of the opening gimmick and actually have some light coming out of there, because the water slide just did not work very well. When you put it in, it ended up getting scratched, and you can probably see some knife marks on there. Add all of this up with a couple of, he's going to be having some gravity issues. If you want to go and add the bazooka to the long rifle, that's going to be problematic. You can see his ankles, they're not bad compared to some of the other kits that I built over the years, but they are just a little bit weak. He's got so much weight that if you don't put him in just the right place, he may just want to topple right over on you, as you saw. And that negative rant went on longer than I expected, but are there positives? Oh yes, there are, and I'm sure you've seen them all from the very start. The unbox, well, what are we talking about? Price. Marginally higher than the original Master Grade, and yet with a million more features. Almost literally over there. The colors that they're going to be giving you, the clear green, great. The yellow's popping. Look at how many yellow parts there are there. Just the fact that you don't have to go and paint them up or do anything like that, or seal Shinaju style. It's all done for you. Sure, it's not mechy, but at the same time, it's easy to do yourself, and it's going to be standing out a lot more than it would with just gray there on the inside. The clear parts are great. Look at the fact that they're going to be giving you these little kind of bonuses. You've got a little yellow Char in there, looking fantastic. They did not have to go compatible, but if they put out the OVA version to go along with the old pack-in, well, you can go ahead and use it. The options of the big tomahawks or the small ones. Get the beam sabers out of the forearms and put them in hand. They've got the pegs. Everything's going to be standing in place. The beam shot, having the red parts in the top and the bottom. Having this long rifle with the hands, when you go inside there, and he goes lunch pail style, he's got the red to hold it on there. The fact that it's got moving parts so that you can get the bazooka in. There are just so many fun options with this guy that even when I forget to put a piece on like this at the end of the shield, well, everything looks so good as it is that you're hardly even going to be noticing that anything's missing at all. Of course, one of Bandai's best-selling features for me is something that's going to be keeping me buying Gunpla, it seems, right through the 2.0s and 3.0s across the line, because I love the real grades having the multiple shades of white, the grays in there, and the fact that they're extending that on to the bad guys there. When you see the different shades of reds, as soon as you get them out of the plastic, you're going to be excited to see what's on where. From a distance, he may just look red, but the minute you get up there, the extra raised seals look fantastic on the shoulders, but the shade upon shade with all the little gray, silver, and yellow on the inside, as complements, just look fantastic. And look at the details here in the shield. To have all of this gray around there, you don't even notice the red until you look right at it, and it looks great. No need to add any colors there because there's gray protruding. You hardly even need to line this guy. I went at it with a little bit of red, but practically unnecessary because they're going to have protruding gray inner frame or silver all over the place. How about the transformation? I'm a huge fan. The shoulders, look at this. The fact that you're getting all of this split crazy area over it. Yeah, the chest somewhat disappointing. The waist section though, the back is incredible. The front, subtle, which is not necessarily a bad thing. And the sides, you can see the boosters coming out where they need to be. Extra sets flipping out down there, exposing ones down there on the legs. The great amounts of silver that you're going to be seeing when it goes around in the back and around from the front because it's purposely designed to protrude on either side there. The yellow, and just look at the details here. These are better than proper sneakers out there. I mean, the shoe wear designer for this guy just did a fantastic job of getting color upon color, not to mention the brakes so he can go sliding across asteroids all over the place, not to mention the rest. Like the funnels and their package over there, fantastic gimmick. They're going to open up nicely. Silver is going to be exposed. Red, they're going to come out, open up very nicely. Exposing gray on one end. Would have been nice if they had been there on both. But overall, just the play options. I'm a huge fan of that old art. And when you get to pose him, the fact that this guy is walking out to lunch and he looks more menacing like that than almost any other Gundam I've ever seen, or MS. He is just incredible. And it's the kind of thing where, yeah, sure, they take something old, obscure, and fun, and they just throw it in as an unneeded gimmick, and it turns into be one of the real highlights, building in modern tie-ins so that it's another reason to buy some of the new kits, even if you've already got the old KA version. Why not go buy the Oviation Inju just for that? Having Amuro able to go and do this and play basketball, he can do it with the red, he can do it with the clear. They went to every trouble, it seems, to take this kit, transform it, as from what we knew from just being a relatively plain red guy with a couple different shades in the old MG, never mind the fact that we never had a 1/100th back in the day, and the fact here that the shoulders can open and all of this frame is going to be unnecessarily exposed and yet unnecessarily awesome. For me, this kit, you can tell, is a pure win and one of the best December kits I think Bandai has ever put out, and it has been well worth the wait. So as Amuro stomps all over his poster back there, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this kit. For me, it's absolutely incredible. The future of the Sazabi. Well, I wouldn't mind it at any other grades. PG, that would be a dream, although the new you'd think would be getting that before this. We've already got a 2.0 equivalent right here, along with the HGUC not too long ago, and Shinanju's galore, and hopefully some more fun to come with Unicorn 7. Anyway, I don't know where the future is going to go for this kit, but for the Katoki line, what are we going to see next year, December? Of course, I hope to see a titanium version of this guy. I would pay for that in a heartbeat. This guy is fantastic with the darker colors and the very bright whites all over it. And the different shades of red for this guy is just going to be incredible. I'm a big fan of his extra finish version. Don't like these guys in silver. Do like these guys in red. Titanium is going to be just as good. So, where do you think it's going to go next, everybody, at the end of next year? So, and thanks again for everybody who stuck around to here. I apologize again for the delays. At the same time, we'll see what happens going forward here. There might be some changes to the format of my reviews and things like that, but at the same time, it was a lot of fun putting this kit together. And even though I built it a few months before actually assembling it, finally, the quality screamed out across all 2 months, and I couldn't wait to get back to it. And I'm happy that I had the chance, and thank you for sticking around to be a part of it. And really, I'd love to hear your thoughts, because you guys have had this hands-on for a lot longer than I have. Anyway, everybody, it was a fantastic New Year's present to get this guy, and I can't wait to see where we go in the future. The Eternal Rivals will be living on. Let's see what happens at the end of episode 7. Will they throw us a curveball? I can't wait to find out. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Sincerely, take care. Bye.